Good afternoon or good evening, football fans. Big Al here on this Thursday, November 6th, 2025, and welcome to my Week 10 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread, and a look at tonight's injury report entering Thursday Night Football between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. And off we go with our Week 10 NFL picks. And we'll start with Thursday Night Football. This week it's an AFC Western Division battle as the 2-6 Las Vegas Raiders visit the 7-2 Denver Broncos. That is tonight at 8:15 Eastern on Prime. Your announcers will be Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Harton. All right, the Raiders sit at number 31 in my Week 10 power rankings. The Broncos have moved up to number 5. Major shakeup at the top of my power rankings this week. Current point spread is Denver -9. The over-under is 43. Personally, I think 9 is way too many points for the Broncos to cover, especially looking at their offense and how it underperformed the last couple of weeks. Pretty much since the Dallas game, they have been underperforming on offense. I think the Broncos do win this one 27-20. I have the game going over 43, but I am taking Vegas plus the 9 points because as I said, I think it's too many points to cover if you're Denver. All right, we have another international game as we move to the Sunday schedule. The 3-5 Atlanta Falcons battle the 7-2 Indianapolis Colts over in Berlin, Germany. It'll be their first NFL regular season game in Germany. And that's Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. on NFL Network. Your announcers are Adam Amin, Kurt Warner, Stacey Dales, and Christina Pink. All right, the Falcons are at number 22 in my Week 10 power rankings, while the Colts fell to number 9 following last Sunday's loss to the Steelers, where their offense just couldn't get going. Current point spread is Indianapolis -6.5, and the over-under is at 48. I'm taking the Colts to win 28-17. I have the game finishing under 48, and I'm taking the Colts at -6.5. Now to the Sunday afternoon schedule. You'll have 7 games in the early portion of the day, starting off with the 3-5 Baltimore Ravens at the 4-4 Minnesota Vikings. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Kevin Kugler, Daryl Johnston, and Allison Williams. Baltimore comes in at number 19 in my Week 9 power rankings, or rather Week 10 power rankings. The Vikings are just a spot below them at number 20. I think a Baltimore win will boost them up by rankings next week. Current point spread is Baltimore -4. Over-under is 49. I'm taking the Ravens to win this one 27-20. I have the game going under 49, and I'm taking the Ravens -4. But I would not be surprised if the Vikings either covers the game and still loses, or wins and covers outright. All right. Next up is my lock of the week. It's the 6-2 Buffalo Bills at the 2-7 Miami Dolphins. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Andrew Catalan, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, and AJ Ross. All right. The Bills sit at number 2 in my Week 10 power rankings. The Dolphins are down at number 27. Current point spread is Buffalo -9.5, and the over-under is at 50. This is going to be a one-sided game. I think the last time these two teams played in Buffalo, the Dolphins were very competitive. I don't see that happening here. Buffalo wins 38-13. I have the game going over 50, just a smidge. And I'm taking the Bills at -9.5 as my lock of the week. Next, you have two bottom feeding teams. The 2-6 Cleveland Browns at the 1-7 New York Jets. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, and Aditi Kinkawala. Alright, the Browns are at 23 in my Week 10 power rankings, which I think is a little too high. I don't know why I didn't move them lower. The Jets, meanwhile, sit at number 30. Current point spread is Cleveland -2.5, and the over-under is 37.5. The Jets just don't have the firepower on offense to put up points against this stout Cleveland defense. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game here, as I have the Browns winning 20-10. I have the game going under 37.5, and I'm taking Cleveland -2.5. Next, we have a divisional tilt in the AFC South, as the 5-3 Jacksonville Jaguars visit the 3-5 Houston Texans. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Ian Eagle, J.J. Watt, and Evan Washburn. Alright, both are towards the middle of my Week 10 power rankings. The Jags are at number 14. The Texans are at 18. Current point spread is Jacksonville -1.5, and the over-under is at 37.5. Davis Mills will be starting at quarterback for the Texans in place of the injured C.J. Stroud, but I don't think that matters. I think Houston will get back on track here and win this one 24-17. I have the game going over 37.5. And I'm taking Houston +1.5. Next up, it's our game of the day, or game of the week, I should say. The 7-2 New England Patriots at the 6-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, both teams had Tom Brady at quarterback at different times. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. And this is my game of the week, as I said, as the Patriots are number 3 in my Week 10 power rankings, while the Buccaneers have soared to the top spot. Current point spread is Tampa Bay -2.5, and the over-under is 48. I think the Patriots will take this one because Tampa Bay has so many injuries right now. Both defenses will play their hearts out, but I think the Patriots will come out on top here. Give me New England 28-23. I have the game going over 48, and I'm taking the Bucs at -2.5. Up next, we have a divisional clash in the NFC South as the 1-8 New Orleans Saints visit Charlotte to play the 5-4 Carolina Panthers. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Jen Hale. That's Jennifer Hale, but they call her Jen. Alright, the Saints are 29th in my Week 10 power rankings. The Panthers are at 17. Current point spread is Carolina -5.5, and the over-under is 39.5. I think the Panthers will win this game 24-20. The game going over 39.5, but I am taking New Orleans with the 5.5 points in this one. And then rounding out the early portion of the Sunday schedule, you have the 2-7 New York Giants at the 5-3 Chicago Bears. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, and Pam Oliver. Alright, the Giants sit at 28 in my Week 10 power rankings. The Bears are number 16. Current point spread is Chicago -4.5. The over-under is 47. I have the Bears winning this game 27-21. I think the game will go over 47. And I'm taking the Bears at -4.5. Now to the 3 late afternoon games on the schedule, starting off with the 3-5 Arizona Cardinals, coming off of Monday night's big win in Dallas. They're headed to the Northwest to face the 6-2 Seattle Seahawks, the current co-leaders in the NFC West. Sunday at 4:05 on CBS. Your announcers are Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. All right, the Cardinals sit at number 25 in my Week 10 power rankings. The Seahawks are at 6. Current point spread is Seattle minus 6.5. The over-under is 45.5. I have Seattle winning straight up 28-24. I have the game going over 45.5, but I am taking the Cardinals minus 6.5. And then to game 2 of Fox's doubleheader, some will see the 5-3 Detroit Lions visit the 3-6 Washington Commanders. Sunday at 4:25 on Fox. Your announcers are Kevin Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Megan O'Leary. Alright, the Lions fell to 7 in my Week 10 power rankings after last week's home loss to the Vikings. The Commanders, who were blasted on Sunday Night Football by the Seahawks, dipped to number 24. Current point spread is Detroit minus 8. The over-under is 49. I am going to take the Lions in this one, 31-20. I have the game going over 49. And I'm taking the Lions minus 8. But I would not be surprised if there's a backdoor cover by Washington and they keep this game close. And then the rest of the country, or much of it anyway, will be seeing the 6-2 Los Angeles Rams and the 6-3 San Francisco 49ers do battle at Levi's Stadium, not AT&T Stadium. Sorry about that. Sunday at 4:25 on Fox. Your announcers are Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. All right. And they are ranked right next to each other in my power rankings. The Rams are number 11, and the 49ers are 10th. Current point spread is LA minus 4.5, and the over-under is 49.5. Now, Kyle Shanahan has owned Sean McVay in this series, but the Niners have way too many injuries, and I think it's going to catch up to them this week. I have the Rams winning 31-24, the game going over 49.5, and I'm taking Los Angeles minus 4.5. As for LA's other team, they're playing on Sunday Night Football as the 6-3 Los Angeles Chargers host the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday night at 8:20 on NBC. Your announcers are Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. And just like the Rams-Niners game, these two teams are right next to each other in the power rankings as well. Pittsburgh is number 13 in my Week 10 power rankings, and the Chargers are 12. Current point spread is LA minus 2.5, and the over-under is 45. And if you look at this offensive line of the Chargers, I don't see how they can stack up with that front seven of the Steelers. LA has so many injuries on that offensive line, including Joe Alt, who is out for the season. So with that, I'm taking the Steelers winning 24-20. I have the game finishing under 45. And I'm taking Pittsburgh plus 2.5. And the final game of the week is Monday Night Football, as my 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, head to Green Bay to face the 5-2-1 Packers. Monday night at 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. Your announcers are Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, and Laura Rutledge. All right, the Eagles are at number 8 in my Week 10 power rankings, while the Packers are at number 4, losing the top spot after dropping their last game at home against the Carolina Panthers. And personally, I don't see the Packers losing back-to-back games at home. Currently, the point spread is Green Bay minus 2, and the over-under is 45. I'm expecting Matt LaFleur's team to come out with a chip on their shoulder and play very, very well in this one. I don't think our team stands a chance here, but we will keep it close. Green Bay wins 27-24. I have the game going over 45, and I'm taking the Packers at minus 2. All right, we have 4 teams off in week number 10, including the 3-6 Cincinnati Bengals, ranked at number 26 in my week 10 power rankings. The Dallas Cowboys at 3-5-1 and ranked 21st. The Kansas City Chiefs at 5-4 and ranked number 15. And the Tennessee Titans at 1-8 and ranked 32nd. All right, so those are my picks. Now let's get into this injury report for the Raiders-Broncos game later on tonight. And we'll start off with the Raiders. Quarterback Aiden O'Connell is out with a wrist. Meanwhile, defensive tackle Adam Butler with a back problem. Safety Lonnie Johnston with a fibula. And safety Isaiah Palomal with a hip are all listed as questionable. Other names for the Raiders include defensive tackle Thomas Booker and tight end Brock Bowers. But I'm expecting Brock to play tonight. And for the Broncos, tight end Nate Atkins is out with a knee. Wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. is out with a concussion. And of course, you know about cornerback Pat Surtain II. He's out with a pectoral muscle. Safety P.J. Locke is questionable tonight with a neck injury. Other names on the Denver injury report include linebacker Jonathan Cooper, defensive end John Franklin Myers, safeties J.T. Gray and Brandon Jones, defensive tackle D.J. Jones, place kicker Will Lutz, and cornerback Riley Moss. And that's a look at my Week 10 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread. How do you think these games are going to turn out this week? Leave your predictions in the comment section. I will be back on Monday with a look at the new AP and AFCA coaches polls entering week 12 of the college football season. That'll drop on Monday. And then we'll have the week 12 college football television schedule, plus the announcers for every game. And my week 10 NFL recap on the week that was. And then on Wednesday, and that will be including the NFL playoff picture after 10 weeks during the week that was. So join me Tuesday for that. And then next Wednesday, we'll have the second college football playoff rankings going into week number 12. And we'll be back next week with my week 11 NFL picks and the Thursday Night Football injury report. So join me all next week for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.